A fast-paced action game with lots of deaths, trial and error, and a retro style can be a lot of fun. Just look at the likes of Super Meat Boy. But there's a brand new one called Hopiko now available on the PlayStation 4. But does this game have enough to it and enough fun factor to be worth your time? Or is this one high-speed game that just ends up hitting a wall? Hopiko is an extremely fast-paced platform style of game where you have to be very quick on your feet and you're gonna die a ton before you're able to complete even a single level. Hopiko has an extremely simple control scheme. You aim your character with either the right stick or the left stick, though you can change this in options for which one you prefer, and then you can kind of see where their trajectory is going to go. When you let go, they blast off. You can also just go straight ahead wherever they're currently facing, whatever direction that may be, by either using R1 or the X button. Your goal is just to get your character to the end without running into the various wall boundaries or running into an enemy. Each level, though, is broken up into 5 segments, and you have to do all 5 of these quick-paced segments in a row without failing. If you fail at one point, you're going back to part 1 of that level and have to start over again. This can lead to a lot of frustration, especially early on. But once you start to get the hang of things, it can be a bit addictive as you're trying to figure out what exactly you need to do in order to advance through each part. Though there is a huge annoyance factor of getting far into a level and then having to start all the way back from the start. Once you gain control in a segment, you only have a few seconds, maybe microseconds, to figure out where you need to go to next because the platform you start off on will end up exploding just a few moments later. And that's the case with all the platforms in every one of the levels. You only have a set amount of time before that ends up just exploding and you end up dying that way. So not only do you have to worry about boundaries and enemies, you also have to be really quick thinking just to make sure you're able to get off of platforms. What provides all the challenge, though, is the types of platforms. Not only do you have kind of your stagnant platforms that just stay still, you have ones that will rotate as soon as you end up hitting them, you have ones that will disappear once you blast off of them just one time, ones that activate once you go past them, you'll have ones that start moving really quickly once you land on them, ones that rotate, but they rotate in kind of the same speed that you end up hitting them, or what angle you end up hitting them in. So if you hit them in the edge of a corner, they may go a little bit faster than if you hit them dead center. And all of this needs to be done in just the right way to make sure that you're able to aim up to that next platform or that next barrel or just barely escape the next enemy and hit the goal for that segment. Every segment of a level has its own goal with a certain time or a certain number of moves that you'll have to use in order to complete it. If you're able to do so within those goals, you'll get a check mark, and your goal is to get every check mark for every segment and then do that with every single level in the game. By doing this, this is how you end up unlocking more levels as well as some of the other modes such as speed run or like a marathon mode where you have to do all the levels in a single go. So there's lots of replayability. Even though there may not be a ton of levels, this game will put up a lot of challenge, and if you can get into it, there's definitely a lot to play here. From the technical side of things, while it did run smoothly and didn't crash, there was an extremely annoying glitch that would end up happening at any point if I ended up hitting the PlayStation button to kind of go to my PlayStation menu, maybe check out what trophy I just end up unlocking. When I would go back into the game, it would actually say my save was corrupted. Thankfully it wasn't, but either way it would end up restarting the whole game. And this, of course, only happens if you hit the PlayStation button, but it was a pretty big annoyance from time to time. Speaking of trophies, though, there is not a full trophy list. There is no platinum for Hopiko, unfortunately. That would have definitely added a bit more challenge and a bit more fun to the overall game. The soundtrack for the game, though, is quite nicely done. It has that chiptune EDM feel to it, so if you like that style of music, you're going to really enjoy the soundtrack with Hopiko. Hopiko is available on the PlayStation 4 for $6.99, and it's one of those games that's going to walk that border of being really frustrating or really fun depending upon the type of gamer you are. I'm literally right in the middle, as I was having some fun, but also getting quite frustrated as I continue to play through, with certain levels taking me forever, while other ones I was able to get the groove really quickly and get through them. One thing I appreciate was the ability to change between the left and right joystick for my aiming, but I honestly wish there was a sensitivity option as well to kind of change just how quickly the aiming ends up working. It really would have ended up helping me be able to nail the platforms and where exactly I wanted to go a bit better, as a lot of times I would hit where I wanted to go and I was just slightly off when I released the stick, as it would just nudge just a tiny bit at release, especially with going through things so quickly. With everything said, though, I'm going to be giving Hopiko a 5 out of 10. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.